What's up everyone, welcome back to a new video on the Alien Algo channel. So today we'll be going over the markets again per usual. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. So the first point we will be starting at will be the weekly chart. So again, these typical ranges, right? But what can we see here? We see when the halving was, and we see this massive range that was formed during the halving period. So a key point I always look at with major ranges is their PLCs, value area high and value area low. If price ever gets back to them, these become key. So now that we have established that point, the second thing we'll be looking at is the previous year low. This becomes a key pivot to break. So with that out of the way, let's just look at the current range, right? What we have is very simple. We have the volume profile right here. Where do we start it? The last impulse before we came into the downtrend. So here, the low, and this was that impulse that took us to the bottom. After that, we have just pretty much ranged the entire period from there. So this again is the starting point for this volume profile if you just want to copy it. So with that being said, you see the previous year low. This was what gave us the initial rejection where price looked like it broke up, but it rejected at that previous year high. Ran back into the value area low. From here, we established this low. So now the current point to look at is quite simple. This value area high. If this value area high gets broken, we just should shoot straight into this previous year low again. Then what should we be expecting again? This to be that resistance, right? If this level gets flipped, we should be looking at the start of this impulse, which is around that 7980K-ish zone. So now let's go to the lower time frame and let's just look what is currently happening. So again, that box I was talking about in the group, we had this candle high, we had this major wick, this gave us a lower time frame range, ended up trying to break the low, clearly filled, and then that massive impulse started. So people look at news, I just look at charts. Very simple, it's in the flows. Just ignore the fucking news and just learn to read the charts, because they pretty much reflect the news before the news gets confirmed or even comes out. So it should be very simple. Let's just look at this high. Again, why this high? This is what took us to the low. This is where price currently is finding its resistance. So we can just simply map this out like a box. Same thesis here. We take this point, that's the incorrect point, and we just draw it to the right. What do we see, guys? This is exactly where the resistance is found, exactly where the support is found. Now, let's go to the 30 minute. So, again, I should extend this a little bit, I see. So, we have it as of now. We still see this a value area high of the current higher time frame range. So this becomes the key point to reclaim, right? Super simple. What we are currently looking at. This push, and then we can look to what do we have here? Equal highs. This shit's got ran. There we go, right? As long as price is chopping around in this zone, there's just not that much to do. We start finding acceptance above this area, then you can look for that push to the upside. Until then, this is just your new range. Super simple. So what key pivots do we have nearby? Current low, let me actually put this as a red line. And what do we have at the upside? You're right, we have this one. What do we have? This. And now let's just dumb this down. Pivot 1, pivot 2, almost the midpoint of these two. So it should be very simple that this is your trigger point. If we see flow setting up, we should be looking to ladder it towards the upside. This gets rejected, there's still a chance to take out the low. If the low first gets taken, that's your signal to look for this, right? So this is just price action dumped down on the lower time frame. So again, my higher time frame bias remains very simple. As long as price is trading in between this, it's a range. We start trading outside, then I'm looking for this to become a trend. Where should the trend get to? 80K. Now let's go to the TPO chart. And I won't show the daily or the weekly TPO this time. I have a yearly TPO setup here. So again, this is not a full year because the year, of course, is only going on for about 4.5 months. So what do we have next to this? The yearly VWAP. So again, remember that the previous year low, this caused a rejection. It was in correlation with the yearly VWAP. So if we actually want to see upside, this is just the key point to break, right? What do we have here? These gaps, single prints, also known as imbalances. If the downtrend is efficient, these need to get fixed. Meaning, this gets broken, we again should be looking for the push into this region. Now again, look where this is located. 79, 80K. So again, this shit gets broken. We should be looking for it to extend into here. What sort of scenarios should you be looking at from that point? If we expand beyond it, this can become a second point to watch. Super simple. The bear case, I will always show you both scenarios so you're prepared for whatever happens. We fail the single print and we reject from it. And then this will become that area to look for shorts back into the range. Super simple. Then we could go back all the way down towards the BOC. So it should be very clear for Bitcoin what's going on as of now. It's still inside the range, but we are trading into the high with aggression. So the next thing we will be looking at, I'll actually use the ES chart in this case. So, yep, this was that beautiful bottom. Let's just dump this down into simple price action. First, we go to the weekly, right? What did we see? Low, go to the 1 day, break below, push above, reclaim. Perfect retest, and we just shoot up. So what do we see? It is still trading into key resistance. We have multiple lows here stacked up, multiple highs stacked up, working as that current resistance. So let's put this into a box to make it a little bit more obvious to read. There we have it. This is just that level we should currently be looking at. Now, where did the distribution start happening? And with distribution, I mean a range into a drop. So where did the massive impulse really start? This caused the break. So this candle is something we will be watching. So super simple, we draw a line. Next point, the range itself, right? In this case, we will be using a box because the line is not really clear. We have multiple fake outs at the high. So what do we have? We have this place right there. So this is that current levels you should be watching for ES. Now, if we go down to the 30-minute, we see the push up, we see it currently holding. So if the ES wants to continue up, should be very simple again. We have this current high. Again, what do you have at the bottom side? This. So what do we have next to this? I'll quickly turn the magnet off. This was that impulse, right? Where do we see efficient? We had a gap, price gapped up, we filled back into the gap, and then we got the push. That's sufficient. So what we would like to see, either the push above this, higher, failed break, and higher. If we see a break, retest, that's your signal to look for lower prices. What should we be looking at in that case? This entire candle. So let me draw that into a box again. And I will actually put this here, so it doesn't overlap that much. And I will make this blue per imbalance. So super simple shit. Here, upside. These are just your pivots to watch on the lower time frame. And again, on the higher time frame, these are your pivots to watch. I'm using the ES chart here, so if you want to draw the levels yourself, here you go, screenshot this shit and just copy it. So next thing I want to look at, silver. I always liked silver here. When did I start buying silver? Around here, right? Where did I add aggressively? Here. Where did I start selling? You guessed it, above 105. So as we see right now, we had this low, has been taken, and we are reclaiming this pivot from the entire macro range. So this remains to look quite good, and I still expect silver to do good. Right, we had this massive correction, second leg, taking out the low, bouncing from it, and reclaiming it. So silver overall remains to look good. So I remain bullish on the metals. So for gold, it should be quite similar. Yeah, this is what we were looking at. Either this to hold, upside, and if this didn't hold, then we would have been looking for lower. What happened? The flush, hold, 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 hold. And we got higher prices. So super simple. Now let's just quickly go back to this one, because I see something going on my second pane. Again, I want to keep talking about this point. It's key. If we're looking on a higher time frame, again, what did I say at the beginning? These are key. These are key. This is where price is currently trading. If I were to remove everything, look at what's happening here. Look at what's happening here. Look at what's happening here. We see the selling pressure going on, but the selling got smaller each time. We see a rounding formation. We see this current high. So again, let me put back the drawings. Key to break. If this starts breaking, you can actually move quite fast. So I hope you're prepared. And with that being said, if you want to remain updated on a higher frequency, make sure to DM me on X and I will explain you the details on how to join the FIB. It's very simple. So with that being said, I will end it on the yearly TPO. Again, VWAP right here, yearly VWAP, the single print here at the upside. If I just go to the TPO chart that you should know already, because I do post this quite often by now. That was not supposed to happen. Wrong button, you get me. So what do we have? The TPO 8-week composite. This is where price is currently finding its resistance. If we extend beyond this, same thesis as with that yearly VWAP and this current value going on, we extend into that single print, right? So until then, it's quite literally still a range. If I were to add back the candles to make it a little bit more clear for you guys, what do we see? We see it pushing, holding. So ideally, this means if we start finding acceptance back below, that's bad. As long as we keep trading above this, it's all good. One thing I would allow is a little flush into this to take this low, fix this single print, and then extend. But the main objective right now is to extend beyond this 8-week value area high. So with all that being said, I hope you liked today's video, and per usual guys, alien out.